This is lovely. I actually like smaller groups. It's a lot of information that I typically present, and I think sometimes in larger groups people feel a little uncomfortable, particularly if it's a question that's maybe really personal and specific to their situations. So this is great. I'll do a yes. This is her second year of ballet, so she's our little sugar plum fairy. But I like to start with this, guys. This isn't what I have always done. I have been in this position with my own business for several years now. But prior to that, I was an employee, and I worked with a tiny company. Some of you may have heard about it, called Verizon. And I was their vice president of public policy, and I managed the national relationships here in Washington. Did that for about 8.5 years, and I was completely burnt out. Right? I knew very quickly that this was not what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. And there are many people, by the way, in that organization, in that sector. We call them lifers. They've been there until they get booted or they retire. They will be there. But I knew I was never going to be one of those. And when I left in 2015, I was actually laid off. So there are, particularly when I speak here, there are a lot of people who have had that similar experience, right? It's a blip in your career, and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? For me, it was a little bit different because I always knew I was going to leave. And so I had planned accordingly. So when the time came, I had exactly the opposite reaction. When my boss said, Faizun, we've had wave after wave of layoffs, and unfortunately, this one, your position got eliminated. I was ecstatic. I felt like my prayer had been answered. I'll never forget that moment. It was such a visceral feeling for me. I felt like the big stone that had been on my chest, somebody had finally lifted it off, and I could breathe. So that it gives you a sense like this is how I felt. And then when I heard that I was no longer going to be in this position, I felt free. 2015, didn't know what I was going to be doing. Linda and I met at that point in our life. She too was going through a transition at the time, and we went through this transition agency that our companies had provided us with, and we did the resume and the cover letter and all the good stuff that people do, right? Started applying to different jobs. Very quickly realized this is no longer going to be my cup of tea. It was going to be something different. My daughter at the time, she's 6 now, as I said to you guys, but she was a year and a half, about 18, 19 months at the time. And I'm one of those people, I don't have a lot of regrets in life. That's just not how I am. My biggest regret in life is that I missed entirely the first year. Missed. Other than a couple of pictures and home videos on our phones that my husband and I took, I have no memories whatsoever. I was in the office, 80-hour work weeks, phone calls, on weekends I was always on call. I was in public policy, so there's lots of fires around the country we were putting out. One thing led to another, and I said to myself, there are 3 things that I want. At this stage and age in my life, with a young child and a husband who's also an entrepreneur, so he's never here either. 3 things. 1, I really wanted to be able to use all of my strengths and my skills, what I call superpowers. And we all have them. All of us, we have them. I wanted to be able to utilize all of them in whatever the next thing was. Didn't know what that was yet, but that was one. Second thing, I wanted to be able to build a life and a business around her. I did not want her to fit into my business and my life. It's typically what most of us end up doing. Not intentionally. Oh, I'm so sorry, I have to be at the office until 7:30. I'm sorry, honey, I can't do dinner tonight. Then you miss your kids' game, and then they continue growing and miss different things. I said, no. I've heard that and I've seen that far too many times. My business and my life has to fit around her. She's the center. She's the solar plexus, right, of my universe. That was the second thing. The third thing, very simple. You're recording me, aren't you, Ron?
Yes.
I'll say it anyway. I did not want to work with assholes anymore. Just did not. Because the negative energy and how drained you feel when you deal with people like that, I said it has to be on my terms. to the extent possible, right? Realistically, to the extent possible. Those 3 things. And in all of this was key for me, guys. It may or may not be for you, but it was for me. I was always searching to do work that felt personally meaningful for me. And I hadn't felt that. So that's a little bit about it. The franchise consulting company, that's our company. And we do 2 things, and for our purposes here, I think this is really what you guys are looking for. Franchise consulting is when we help professionals find the right franchise for their goals, their needs, their desires, their positions in life. Your goals and your goals and your goals and Ron's goals and mine are completely different. So the one business is not going to fit all of us. What is that one business for you? That's what I help folks provide. By the way, a lot of times people will say, do you sell franchises? No, I don't have a license to sell franchises. All I provide is an educational resource so that you can make the right decision on what is the right franchise for you. The second thing that we do is what we call franchise development, and this is where I work with business owners who have a business and they are saying, I'm strapped for time, I'm strapped for money. I think the best way for me to grow my brand is by turning it into a franchise. That's development, right? My clients never pay me a penny, ever. If you ever meet someone like me who says, yes, here's my contract, you need to pay me this much money, you need to not walk, you need to run away, because that is not done, that is not right. I work exactly like a realtor or a recruiter, right? I work with several hundred franchises, and when my client decides this is the one for them, and they sign on with them, at that point the company turns around and pays us a commission, pays us a fee. Make sense? Okay, questions? Comments? Jokes? Okay, good. Guys, by the way, I like to have a conversation so that I'm not talking at you. So please feel free to jump in. Let's make this a true conversation. This, by the way, is an agenda that came from people who sat in this room before you, who said, Faizun, this is important. I'd like to know about this. I'd like to know about that. That wasn't so useful. So this is an agenda based on the feedback of people just like you. So take a look at it. We'll be going through these probably a little bit quickly since we started late. But I'm available to meet with you later, one-on-one, to answer any specific questions you guys have. If there's anything else that you guys want to know about, just jump in and ask me as we go along. Good?
Yes.
So Linda, you and I were talking a little bit about this, right?
Yeah.
So interview situation, we are looking for someone aged 22 to 26 with 30 years of experience, right?
Yeah.
This is the madness that we live in right now. So you go to, do you remember when we were at Lee Head Harrison, some of our older colleagues, we literally had the conversation with Andrea, who was the career coach, or with Lisa, and they would say, oh yeah, take the years off. These positions, take them off of your resume. That's not what you should be sending out, because they'll look at it and they'll realize you are older.
I took all mine out.
Right, see? So this is...
I started my career in 2000.
Oh,
I know. I got to
right.
take some more years off.
Nice.
Then the question becomes, what part of your life do you want to deny?
I know.
Maybe I'm looking at this a little too philosophically, but that's how I am. I'm not going to pretend I am, take years, experience of my life that adds to who I am and makes me who I am. So, as people start to think about moving from being an employee to being a business owner, this is sort of the landscape that we have been in over the last, say, 10 years or so. And I think you guys would agree with me if I said that the situation has only gotten worse. It hasn't gotten any better, right? So layoffs, what happened to me at Verizon, what happened to you at CNN, Linda, right? The second bullet, how many of us love our bosses, right? There's always that friction, increasing friction. There's a reason why this organization is called 40 plus. I think I'm being a little generous when I say 50 plus. I think it's 40 plus, right?
Yeah.
That age discrimination is well and alive in the corporate workplace. Growing up, did your parents say, go to school, go to college, get a degree, be a good student, get a good job, and you'll be set for life? Did you guys hear that? I sure as heck did. I don't know that that's true anymore.
there's been a structural shift in the economy over
Yeah.
the last 40 years. And the fact is, you know, you don't have a pension for a lifetime unless you work with a public institution. And in this age of, you know, of the internet, you know, you apply for a position, and you might be one of several hundred people, you know, going for a job.
Absolutely.
And so an employer, you know, can be very,
Yes, picky.
very choosy, picky,
Mhm.
call what you will.
That's right. That's right.
And then whatever you put on the net, you know, via LinkedIn or through other, you know, other resources, it's there. So that when you remarket yourself, if you will, but in a different focus, you know, when you're going for an interview, an employer could say, well, look, you know, I see that, you know, you were recently, you know, in LinkedIn, but it was a different, you know, just a different focus. You know, tell me, why did you?
What happened?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. This lady here did a career pivot herself, so she
Yeah.
knows this well enough.
It's the hardest thing I ever did, that career pivot.
But you did it,
Yeah.
and you did it successfully, Leila,
Yeah.
because many people do, and they don't come out as successfully as you did, right? So yeah, it continues, age and unemployment discrimination, right? And so in the midst of all of this, the question becomes, if that's the case, what do we do? Is there an alternative? I love the phrase job security, because I think it is such a misnomer in today's world. Because job security, is it really secure? Jeffrey, the first bullet is what you just said, right? If you're at that special age, you wait now, I said twice as long. In many instances, it's way more than that, because you're competing with candidates who are younger than you. Do you guys know what peak incomes are? Have you heard of that? So peak income is in a person's career path. This is at what age you will make the most amount of money you will ever make.
Yeah.
For both men and women, that age has come down. What does that mean? You are making less money for a longer period in your life, your active work life. Okay? Outsourcing continues to be huge for companies because it adds to their bottom line. Doesn't add to ours, but it adds to theirs. Right? So, you know, it's a silly joke. What's job security like here? Well, I wouldn't take off my coat if I were you, because the moment I do, I may be out of here. Right? So, job security, really? Is it that secure? Here's the other one. Oh my God, business ownership, but it's so risky. Think of how traditionally we've thought about these two things, right? But the question becomes, is it really as risky as getting a job? I don't know. But these are the things that happen. When you own your own business, no one can ever downsize you. No one can say, Faizun, your position just got eliminated. Unless maybe it's my husband who's my partner in my business, and then maybe he can. But I still doubt that, right? No one can take it away. You can never be fired. It's your baby. It's your business. Here's the other thing. A lot of times I have clients who say to me, Faizun, but I don't want something where I'm putting in 100 hours a week. I've had a long career doing ABC. I am 56 years old. Look, you know, I missed all of my life. I want a business that brings in some money, but I also want to have a life. Absolutely. You grow the business at the pace that you want. Because there is no boss saying, Jeffrey, I got to see you put 80 hours a week. Why are you slacking? This isn't what we brought you in for. Right? You don't have that. And then ultimately this, the longer you own your business, the safer it becomes. Because you know it, you understand the systems and the processes. You become more confident in whatever it is you're doing. Right? So is business ownership really that risky? That's a question that I'll pose to you guys, right? How many of you have heard of a franchise being referred to as a business in a box? You have, right? Yeah. Why do you think it's called that? Why is it a business in a box?
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
They give you everything.
They give you everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. The business model essentially is already set up, and the contractual terms are such that you sign and you follow suit with, you know, with the with the contract.
Yes, exactly. A business in a box, they give you a turnkey system. So they'll imagine a shoe box, and they hand it over to you and they say, Linda, here's the box you need. Everything you need to operate your business successfully is in there. We need you to follow our playbook, because if you don't, you're not going to do well. This is the reason, by the way, and we'll get into it, that you as a franchisee, if you decide to go that route, why you pay a franchise fee and then ongoing royalties for the life of your contract with the company. It's because of the playbook that they're handling, right? At the end of the day, a franchise is only about systems, and a franchise is only as good as its system. Don't get this twisted. It's really not that complicated. It is the system they're providing you. I tell every single client who worked with me, I can give you businesses in absolutely different industries and categories. What you want to understand is how robust is the support that you are going to provide to me when I become your franchisee. That's it. That is what you're looking for, right? Sales, marketing, ops, customer retention, lead development, business development, whatever the business is, how are you being supported? Because the point is, if you're not supported, go and just open up that same business from scratch by yourself. Why would you pay all this money? There has to be a competitive advantage why you became a franchisee versus not. And Ron back there, who's now a franchisee, is emphatically nodding his head. Love it. Okay. Initial and ongoing training. So a lot of people, like Linda, you were saying, I just have no idea, like, what franchise? And this is the beautiful thing with a franchise system. Do you know that most franchises prefer candidates who have never had experience in whatever they do? Why do you think that is? Yes?
They want somebody who's going to follow their program.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss for the
I was going to
franchisor.
say fresh ideas, but
Fresh
I guess
ideas.
it's not fresh ideas. Wrong.
Because think about it this way, right? Let's
Yeah.
say it's a marketing franchise.
Yeah.
And you are the VP of marketing for some big, large company.
Mhm.
And you come in, there may be a part of you that says, well, I know this stuff like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
I don't need to follow what you're telling me. Do you know what is the number one reason why some franchisees will lose the shirt off their backs and go out of business?
They don't follow the playbook.
They don't follow the playbook. There was not the right fit. We're going to talk about this. Fit. This is really the only thing that I do with my clients. I'm always trying to figure out what is your perfect fit. Not romantically, in the business realm. What is your perfect fit, right? But having said all of these things about franchises, the reality is it's not a silver bullet. There are cons. And so if this is at all something you're interested in, you want to go into it with your eyes wide open, right? So for example, the first one, I've had clients at the workshops that I do, somebody in the audience will say, Faizun, that all sounds fantastic, but the reality is, I just don't want another boss, even if it's in the guise of a playbook. And my response is very simple. You're probably not going to be a good candidate for a franchise. If you're pretty clear about that you're not going to do that, then why would you pay the money to become a franchisee, right? Some, not all franchises will have annual sales goals. And if you don't meet it, there will be some remediation, they will work with you, and if you still don't hit the numbers, the two of you may have to part ways. But not all franchises have annual sales goals. But some people might say, that's another target. I don't want that. I've heard other people say, if I make $100, I want to keep the $100. I don't want to give anything back to my franchisor. It's the same answer as the first one. Then you may not be suited for a franchise. Because if you don't see the value of what your franchisor is giving you, then why did you buy the business? Right? Just go it alone. Go your own way. Do you guys know what protected territories are? Have you ever heard of that? What does it mean?
Is it for franchisees have bought territories or?
John.
I think
Yes,
you're
it
given a geographic region and you have an exclusive right to operate in that area. And a lot of times in any sales job, a lot of times the salespeople will have a geographic area that's assigned to them.
So typically, not all, there are some franchises where you don't have a territory, where, say for example, they might say, Faizun, your market is DC and Virginia. let's pretend. Which means those are the territories where I will do my own local marketing. Any and all clients in those areas that are your territories go to you. So if you have a franchisee from the same brand who lives in Maryland, he or she cannot jump into my territory and get clients. From that sense, it's protected. You cannot jump into my sandbox. Again, there are some people who feel, well, I own the entire country. I don't want just Maryland or Virginia or DC or whatever. Okay? But in that case, that's a pretty easy fix. Then you shouldn't look at franchises that give you territories. Go with unprotected territories, right? Binding contract. At the end of the day, this is a business relationship. There is a contract. It is a binding contract. Every client, before they close, I will ask them, I will tell them, I'll say my recommendation to you would be to consult with a franchise attorney. Ron, did you consult with a franchise attorney?
I did, yes.
You sure did? You sure did. If you have even the slightest question, concern, don't know what this means, I'm not a franchise attorney, but I work with some of the best in the country. And I will absolutely say, have that contract be reviewed and understand your rights, roles, and responsibilities from the get-go.
And in some instances, yes, you're looking at a binding contract, but contracts are negotiable. Some clauses and aspects.
Absolutely, absolutely. This last one is a funny one. Not funny, haha, but it's an interesting one. Did you guys remember, this is probably several summers ago, when we all found out that the foot-long sandwich at Subway was actually not a foot.
Right, yeah.
Do you remember that? And through no fault of the franchisees themselves, they didn't bake their own breads, right? They didn't do that. They didn't know what they were selling. But do you think they got colored with the same brush? Absolutely 100%. So branding, reputation, it's a double-edged sword. It can really take you high, it can also dash you to the ground.
You know, looking also at Papa John's and the founder and owner, you know, making allegedly racial remarks.
You get colored with the same brush?
Yeah.
And
So
so
no fault of your own?
now he's brought on Shaquille O'Neal, you know, for a marketing campaign.
And they got rid of him. They got rid of the guy. So, yeah.
So, as we talked about in the last slide, guys, franchising is all about a system. When you work with me, these are just some of the aspects of different franchises that you're going to look at. Because ultimately what I want you guys to understand is how robust, how strong, how powerful, how supportive is the system's brand, is the brand's system going to be for you, right? We look at all of these different things. Initial training and ongoing support is a really big one. Particularly for people, and most people will end up buying a franchise that they have had no previous experience in. That piece becomes extremely important. Because again, the more fully prepared you are, the higher your probability of success, right? Did you guys know this? These are Census Bureau stats. In every single category that is out there, franchises will make more money than their competing non-franchised counterpart. Every single time. I think that's a pretty astounding stat.
Yeah, and that's probably a factor of the fact that they have a proven business model.
100%. 100%. Because look, if you have a turnkey business, you jump in and you start cranking. No, it's not magic. It's not going to happen in a week, but it's going to be far shorter than if you were a business that started.
I can vouch for that too.
Yes, Ron, go ahead, please.
No, just it hasn't happened in a week.
Attest to that, yeah. So again, this is really what you're looking for. When Ron went through the process with me, I don't think you were here, Jeff, I'm calling you Jeff. Jeffrey.
Please. Jeff or Jeffrey.
Jeff, great. I was telling Linda, Ron was a client of mine. So everything that I'm telling you guys, he went through the same process. I gave him a bunch of businesses, and he went through all of this stuff with each of them. Every week he'd get on a call and talk to the franchise representative about different aspects of the business model that he as the franchisee ultimately would need to know in order to be successful. And every step of the way, the question from me to Ron was, do you see yourself in this? Do you think you can do it? Do you think you can do it successfully and make money? Ultimately, that's why we're looking at a franchise, right?
And do you believe in what the company does?
And do you believe in what the company does? 100%. Because when you have that, my friend, the energy that comes is very different from if you were just doing another job. Right? That's
It's like your energy, right?
It's, well, I was telling Linda when she walked in earlier, I'm finally doing work that I believe is my calling. I have never felt this way about any other job I've ever had. I know the energy I bring to it is different because of how I feel. That's what I try to get my clients to find, right? Let's have you do that. Life is too short. Don't know what's happening after I die. I think this is the only ride I got. I want to make this the best I can. All right. Did you guys know this number is actually a little higher? I need to redo the slide. We are now close to about 4,000 franchises in more than 100 different industries. So the question becomes, if you are looking for a franchise, where do you even begin? And by the way, these are the 5 major categories. Under each category, you have hundreds of subcategories. Food is pretty self-explanatory. Everybody thinks the golden arches when you think of the word franchise. Automotive, that's a huge, huge category we have. Can you guys give me some examples of automotive franchises that you know about, that you have used? Jiffy Lube, Midas, Meineke, Mako, and the list goes on. What do you think I mean when I say retail? What's a retail franchise? Sells products.
Cool. Yeah.
Typically, you might find them in a mall type location, right? What's business services?
Like HR.
Yeah.
Tax. The business that Ron has provides expense reduction services to other businesses. Think that's an example of a business service? Heck yeah. Home personal services. What are those? What comes to mind?
Carpet cleaning companies.
All the exercise places. Orange Theory.
Yes.
Sweatbox.
Yes.
Core Power.
Fitness. Wellness. Hair. Huge category. Personal services.
But also that assisted living locators that you
Yes.
referred me to
Absolutely.
was an example of personal service, but
100%.
it's not in one of those ones you typically think of.
Nope, that's right. Yes.
Storage companies.
Storage companies. Absolutely, right? If you think of an average individual, what kinds of services might they need? Probably would fall into that category. If you're a small business, what kinds of services might you need as a business? Falls into that category. Yeah?
I can add a couple to your
Please.
business services people I've been meeting. One of them has, as part of the franchise, they have bookkeeping services they provide to small
Yes,
businesses.
that's right.
And another one has a business of delivering ink and toner to businesses and any printing supplies they might need.
Beautiful. Absolutely. This is a question I get quite a bit. There is no automatic correlation between the cost of the franchise and the potential return. Sometimes clients will say, well, Faizun, I don't have $1 million. Can I buy a franchise? I say, yep, absolutely you can. But if I don't invest a lot of money, I don't think I'm going to make a lot of money, right? Wrong. Wrong. It is not a 1-to-1 ratio. It doesn't work that way. These are the different investment ranges we have. The one in the middle, the 100 to the 250K, this is sort of a broad-based category. We call them office-based, but they could be other locations. But the point is, the 100 to the 250K, that is what we call the sweet spot of franchising. Sweet spot meaning at that investment level, I will be able to show my clients the biggest and the greatest variety of businesses that maybe fits with them. A lot of people get very excited about this. And I say, before you get super excited, here's the thing. Most of my clients who are coming to me are looking to replicate a 6-figure income. Right? This will not give you a 6-figure income. These are what I would refer to as side businesses. You have a business, it's cranking along nicely, you have a little bit of money set aside, and you say, you know, Faizun, I think I'd like to buy a couple of vending machines. Just, set them up and make some money from there. That would be an example of that. Okay? These are typically restaurants and hotels. I work with every single kind of business you can think about, with the sole exception of hotels. My average clientele does not have the net worth to be able to look at hotels, so it makes no sense to carry them. As you will see, so the percentage, so think of the whole universe of franchisees. If it's 100%, the biggest number of clients will end up buying businesses in this range. That's what the number means. Questions? No? Good?
One
Yes.
question. Typically, how long, what's the payback period? Is it you're paying into the franchise the entire time?
Payback period for your investment?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic question. The answer is it depends. Depending on the kind of business that you're getting, your average time to profitability, break even, which means you've gotten to profitability, with a franchise, it can be as low as 3 months. We've had franchises that do that. A lot of them are in the fitness space, right? Places like Orange Theory, you need 700 members a month to break even. Franchisee goes to training. They haven't yet opened their location. They don't even have a location. They're in pre-marketing phase, right? Pre-opening phase. They've already signed up over 700 clients. They just broke even, baby. They have recouped their entire investment sitting there at trading. We've had that. It's not the typical scenario, but we've had that. On average, I would say between 12 to 18 to 24 months. If you are following your playbook, you must break even. I joke with my clients, if you don't break even, imagine me with a stick in my hand, I'll come hunt you down. But the point is, I give my clients those businesses that I know will get them to that stage at that point.
So do you serve as an accountability partner for the people that you place?
Informally, 100%. Because formally, John, the process ends when I have found you the franchise, you have signed, you've now become a franchisee, right? Formally.
Right.
Informally, every person I've ever put into a business, they are on my speed dial. They text me and call me at all weird hours of the day and night. They have become friends in the process, and they will remain friends. But honestly, for selfish reasons, I want to know, did I do a good job? Did I ultimately find the right business for them? Right? Yeah. Questions on this? Comments? How many of you have heard the phrase recession resistant? You don't count. You've seen this before.
Yeah.
Yeah? You've heard that phrase before? Okay. So recession resistant, this is an amazing way to do this. Lower your risk. How many of you want a business, whether the economy is going up or it's going down, you are continuing to make money? I know I would, right? These are the way I have done this. Look at these businesses as businesses that have a huge trajectory, growth trajectory, because of the changing demographics of the world that we live in. Senior care, for example. Okay? Ron looked at a senior care franchise. Do you think this is a demographic that's ever going to die, pun intended? Right?
Is it growing?
We are all growing older. Every single one of us in the room. It'll never go away. When you think about youth, the youth space, unbelievable. Whether it's education, whether it's athletics, whether it's sports training, it's unbelievable. Start looking at businesses that are in the B2C category, business to customer, consumer. One of my favorites is hair care. Who needs haircuts? Kids going to school, professionals who have a job. Unless you're my husband who's bald, I think you need to go get your hair cut. Right? Amazing, amazing. Another one that I really like, building essentials. So the space that we are in, who do you think provides the light bulbs when a bulb goes out? What we don't know is that the person coming in is probably a member of a franchise, some franchise out there. Think of the kinds of commercial facilities we have around the country. Somebody's going to service them. Why couldn't it be you and your company? The B2B category. Amazing. Ron looked at, didn't you look at an IT service?
I did.
Yep, you sure did. Again, what we're trying to figure out, What is that sweet spot for you? Jen?
Just out of curiosity.
Yes.
Do you represent franchises that cater to the funeral industry and the liquor industry?
No liquor, no funeral.
Just curious.
We have food franchises that will have liquor as part of their overall, like what they're selling to the customer, but no standalone. Funeral, that's an interesting one. I haven't thought of that. Yes. Yes, we do. The cannabis industry is exploding. And because of the legal issues that have been skirted in some, not in all states, cannabis is a huge growing industry.
It's not been skirted, it's just more and more becoming legitimate, and it's spreading nationwide.
Yeah. I would say that this is a personal thing. I am not a first adopter. So even when I was at my last job, I was in tech. I was not an early adopter. I would wait. I wanted to see traction. So I say the same thing. Now, if a client came and said, I'd love to see a cannabis franchise, I'll show it to you. But again, I want to see something that has traction, something that has a little bit of history, right? But yes, absolutely. Have you heard the word semi-absentee? Any of you? Yeah? What's
This
semi-absentee?
is kind of what I was going to ask you about. In that chart in under 50s that you have as a side business, is that like passive income?
No. So,
Are any of these passive income?
yes, many of them are.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, when you are in this category,
Yeah.
the only one of the biggest reasons why the price point is what it is because you are the person who's working the business. The moment you become semi-absentee, it means you hired someone to replace you. If you hire someone, what are you going to have to do? Pay them,
Yeah.
and then your cost goes up.
Right.
Think of it that way.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. Yeah. These are great examples of semi-absentee businesses.
Right.
Fitness is a great one.
Yeah.
Hair care is another great one. There are business services. So Ron, he's starting out. He and his wife Bonnie, they're in it now. But at some point, Ron might say, I want to go off to, I don't know, Spain for a month. I think I need to start to hire some people. Businesses like the one he has is an example of what we call scalable. You start at your pace. You start small, it's you, because you want to know what you're doing inside and out. But as time goes on, you start to hire people, expand and grow the business, and in turn, that is what makes you semi-absentee. Now you can take your foot out there. Any questions on this? $100,000 question, right? Is franchising right for you? So remember I mentioned the phrase perfect fit? It's the one business that fits who you are and takes you where you want to go. For me, it's very simple. Here you are. Where do you want to go? That's part of the conversation that you and I are going to have. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to travel, I want to make this much money, I don't want to work more than this hours, these many hours a week, whatever those things are. Let's find you a business that allows you to do that. These are the three things that I have found are very, very important to my clients. You are in your zone of genius. Have you all ever been in jobs where you hated what you did because it was not in your zone of genius? It was like pulling teeth without lidocaine, right? It allows you to achieve your goals. For most of my clients, these two types of goals are the most important. Financial, obviously. Lifestyle is another one. Question?
Yeah. Are you going to get, I don't know if you might be getting there. If you have the money to buy a franchise, do you just get it, or the franchises are looking for specific, each franchise thing is looking for a certain kind of person or a certain whatever?
That's a
Does it
fantastic
go both
question.
ways like that, or
Yes and
if you
no.
have the money you can buy?
No. So it's a very simple but a very critical distinction. I'm glad you brought it up. A lot of people might think, I have $1 million, I'm going to pop the money down, and I'm going to buy a business.
You're going to buy a Marriott. That's it.
A franchise, Ron will attest to this. Yes, you buy a franchise because money is changing hands, but you don't really buy a franchise. A franchise has to be awarded to you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
There's a big difference there. Yes, franchises, the robust ones, not the ones that are saying, give me your money, and then I'm not going to do anything for you. I'm just in it for the money. No, the robust brands, they're looking for a very specific type of operator. Because they know who they are, they know their culture. And by the way, this is a long relationship, typically 10 years long. They don't want somebody who's going to be a pain for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
The fit has to go both ways.
So it's like do you interview or?
This is the process you'll go through with me.
Yeah.
So when I introduce you to the brands and they go through the different aspects of the business model with you, what do you think they're doing with you, Linda? It's basically a several month-long interview process that you're going through. Don't get it twisted. They're interviewing you just as much as you are like, oh, well, is this the business for me? Goes both ways.
Yeah.
At the very end, and we'll get to it, at the very end, Linda, they will say if they really like what they're seeing, they'll call me and they'll say, oh my God, Faizun, we love Linda. We would love to invite her to our corporate headquarters for a discovery day.
Yeah.
I'm going to call on you to talk so that you can talk a little bit about your discovery day that you had with school.
Actually, I didn't. I skipped the discovery day.
No, you didn't. Stop the madness. Didn't you go
follow.
to?
Did not.
You didn't follow the playbook.
You did.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, that was the training. That was the training you went to.
We went to training. Yeah.
You went to training. There are some brands that have optional discovery days where they'll say you don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one of them. Sorry, I thought it was the discovery. It was the training that you and Bonnie went to. Okay, so they will invite you, and this is the last step in the process where they meet with you in person to really ascertain that yes, they like everything they see. You're going to be a great fit and a great operator in their system.
Okay.
Jeff, you had a question?
Well, just
Thinking?
as you're making a presentation, just thinking of a business like Chick-fil-A, and as part of their business model is Southern Baptist, they close on Sundays. Okay, and so someone who may not be a Christian or a Christian who is not in line with Southern Baptist values, would look elsewhere.
Yeah. By the way, Chick-fil-A is not a franchise. Did you know that?
It's not.
It's not. It's like the biggest myth in franchise.
That's interesting.
Yeah, look them up. You're essentially buying a job. It's a job you get managing a location. I get that question at least once a week. People call me, do you have Chick-fil-A? I'm like, I love Chick-fil-A. I like their spicy chicken sandwich, but no, it's not a franchise. I can't show you that. Yeah. Last. This is an important one. For a lot of my, I would say, older clients. Not the younger ones so much because they feel they have a really long runway. Is it going to be a saleable asset? You buy a business today for $150,000. You run the business very strategically, very intentionally, and in 10 years, you decide you're not going to renew your contract with the company. You are ready to sell. Your contract is over. You're going to sell. If you have built the business strategically, this is going to be a very lucrative exit strategy for you.
But do you sell it back to the franchise or do you sell it to another person like us?
In most cases, it's to a person like you. It's called a resale business. It's a franchise business that's up for resale, meaning somebody has run it for some years. There are franchises who don't like resales, and the parent company is going to buy it back from them.
Okay.
Both scenarios are possible. Depends on who you're with.
Okay, because, sorry,
No,
you
go ahead,
can't just sell it, but then, like, let's say I got a McDonald's and I've done my 10 years and now I don't want to do it anymore and I sell my McDonald's to Jeffrey. McDonald's still has to approve him and everything.
100%.
Yeah.
Because Jeffrey is now becoming the franchisee.
Right.
Is Jeffrey going to be as
Okay.
fabulous as you were?
No.
They don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Right?
That's the confidence. I like the attitude. I love the attitude.
Great question, though. Yes, right? Ultimately, the mothership has to approve whatever the resale is, whoever you're selling it to. So, I use this 6-step process. It's very self-explanatory, right? And the whole process, soup to nuts. If you are doing your due diligence properly, if you are having calls every single week with the brands, typically I'll give you 3 brands at any point in time. The 4th call you're going to have with me every week. If you are doing 4 calls a week, going through everything they're sending you, you can absolutely be done in this time frame. I've had clients who've taken longer. I've had
How long did
clients.
it take you?
Probably the 60-day window. Yeah.
Yeah. So it goes both ways. Goes both ways. Right? The first step. This is what we do. You and I will jump on a phone call. And this is an opportunity for me to really get a better understanding of who you are. So I'm going to pick on Linda because I know her. You know, Linda and I will get on a call and I'll say, Linda, you know, you used to be with CNN. You were in journalism, broadcasting for so many years. So tell me a little bit about what your day looked like. You know, were you doing project-based work? Did you work in teams? Did you manage a team? With all the questions that I just asked her, what do you think I'm trying to understand? What's her management and sales capacities look like? Because when you become a business owner, my friends, those are two key things that you're doing. And I want to know, what have you done in your prior career? I also want to know you. So beyond Jeffrey on his LinkedIn profile, beyond Linda, above and beyond her resume, who are you? What is that thing that puts a sparkle in your eyes when you think about it? What are those things you would rather pay somebody a lot of money than do them yourself? Strengths, weaknesses, right? What are your blind spots? When I get a better sense of that, I am one step closer to figuring out what your perfect fit business might look like. The second step in the process, this is typically an hour and a half long consultation that we'll have. And I'm creating what we call your personalized business model. Think of your business model as a blank canvas that I brought into the room with me. Together, you and I, you're going to help me paint a very detailed picture of what your perfect fit business looks like. What do you want from the business? What are your goals from the business? How long do you think you want to run it? We're going to talk about this. What are the skills you have that are transferable into different types of industries and categories? And then last, we're going to talk about, what do you want the business to look like? Oh, Faizun, you know, I really don't want a large team of people. I think 3 is max. I don't want any more than that. I think I prefer a home-based business. I don't want my investment level to be too high. Can I start a business out of my house? Yes, you can. These are all the kinds of things we're going to talk about. Once we have created your business model, we then move into the actual search of the process. We've now done our groundwork, right? We've created the foundation, we've laid the foundation. I then go into my inventory of businesses and I will pick up 3. Typically, they will be very different from anything that you even know existed or have ever looked at. And I do this for a reason. Again, if you're a marketing guru and you go into a marketing franchise, you may be less likely to follow the system, right? I introduce you to the franchisors. You begin the process to start to understand their business model. And with every call that you have, you're trying to understand, as a business owner, what are my responsibilities going to look like? And those responsibilities, do they play to my strengths or do they play to my weaknesses? And if it is this, I'll take that business away from you and I'll replace it with another one. The point is not that you have an uphill battle learning a new business. The point is you transition easily and start making money fast. This is a key part. This was Ron's favorite part, wasn't it, Ron? No, I'm being sarcastic.
All FDEs are wonderful documents.
There's a huge amount of sarcasm in that comment right there. Do you guys know what the FDD is? No? It's a franchise disclosure document. The franchising industry is regulated by the Trade Commission, the FTC. As part of being able to legally sell franchises in the United States, every brand that I work with every year must file this document with the Trade Commission. It's several hundred pages long. It's a legal document, yes. So if you go ahead, that's why Ron loved it so much.
Well, but it's that long, but a lot of it is kind of lists or things that you can just skim over and you've got everything that's there. See, it's not like you're reading in depth every single line in that document. Actually, some pages just 2 lines, and then they're required to state something and go to the next page for the next subject.
An FDD is comprised of 23 sections. For your purposes, when you begin this process, you will be looking at one that's called Item 19 or Section 19, which is the earnings claim. So this shows you how much money existing franchisees of that business that you're looking at is making. You think that would be helpful to you? Heck yeah. It also gives you a sense of your roles and responsibilities. What are you supposed to do? What in turn are they providing you with? If there's a disagreement, if something happens, what's your recourse? If you don't meet a certain annual sales goal, if they have that, what are you going to do? What's the process? All of that is listed out.
Can I make another?
Please, go ahead.
And also, different states have different regulations. There's a whole section there saying, in this state, these sections are not valid because the state has, like one of the things in Maryland, the state of Maryland dictates when we are required to pay for certain parts of it. So the franchise has a whole payment schedule, but it says for the state of Maryland, you don't have to pay us anything until you complete the training. And that's another thing, because they'll have pages for each state.
Yeah.
They're in several different categories. So it's like if you only live on the state, you don't have to read 49 pages.
I mean, there's a reason why it's several hundred pages long, to Ron's point, but absolutely. Your search process will end with this last step. This is where I mentioned to you the franchisor extends an invitation to you. Oh, I'm sorry, missed one thing. Validating. After you've done the FDD review, you begin the part of the process that's called validation. Validation essentially means everything that the franchise rep is telling you and everything that Faizun is telling you, you are speaking directly to existing franchisees of that brand to find out if indeed that's true. Because who's the best person to tell you about a business? Is it me? I know a little bit about a lot of brands. The rep, yeah, they know more than I do. They work in corporate. But the person who's actually running the business day in and day out, those are the best people that you're going to talk to, right? To get really granular information. Once you're done with your validation phase, at that stage, if the both of you have fallen in love with each other, you will be getting an invitation to go visit them at their corporate headquarters. Again, last stage in your interview process, but really an opportunity for you to meet the extended team that's going to become your work family for a very long time, right? Gives you a lot of good information. Based on which way you come back, you make your go, no-go decision. Funding. The first question clients have is, what franchise is good for me? The second question becomes, how am I going to fund it? There are very many different strategies we use. I work with the biggest franchise funding organizations in the country. As part of working with me, I will be introducing you to them. So I become a one-stop shop. You don't have to be running around. All of these things, if you have one or several of them, or none of them, there are different ways in which we can help you figure out your funding strategy. Discovery Day, we talked about this. You come back from Discovery Day and you say whether or not you make the decision, whether or not this was the brand for you. If it's a go decision, yes, this is the business for me, at that point, I will put you in touch with the franchise attorney. I don't want, nor do I recommend any of my clients signing anything until they've had that legal review done. Go through the review, everything looks good, you're happy, they're happy, you sign, and at that point, you have officially become a franchise. And that is all I have for you folks. I have a form there if you'd like to give me your information. If you think this, you'd like to speak further, talk about things that are specific to you. If you'd like, I will also send you a copy of my book. And the book lays out in more details the 6-step process that I just laid out for you guys. Thank you.
Awesome.
Very good. Okay. Are we ending on time? 11:30, 11:30.